Welcome to the No Cap Sports Show podcast where sports and convos collide. I'm your host, Kobe Turner, a.k.a. The Cobra.
I'm your host, Mo Money.
What's up with you, Mo?
Nothing much, big bro. I can't call it. What about you?
Nothing, man. Just maintaining, I'm locked into this NBA stuff now. Now football and stuff over. I hadn't been paying attention to basketball the whole season, but now I'm locked in, watching different teams, different players, and seeing everybody position themselves for the playoffs. So I ain't gonna lie, it's been some good bump.
Yeah, man. It's definitely been some. And one of those games, well, it wasn't a good game, but it was good to see Luka Magic and LeBron. For all those haters out there that said they couldn't play together, shame on you.
Yeah. Because I mean, look, you have two players with the IQ that they have, and the feel for the game that they have. I mean, I thought it was just self-explanatory. Offensively, they're going to click, and every game they play, they're going to click even more. But just off of them knowing the game of basketball, I didn't have any worries about their offensive chemistry. Now, I did have some concerns about defense. I did because, Luka is not considered a defensive player, and then LeBron 40, so he's not going to be playing defense the whole duration of a game.
Right.
But what I saw against the Denver Nuggets, JJ Redick, man, he brewing up something nice for them boys.
Yeah, man. If you look at it, what they did is they took the Nuggets' strength, which is shooting in the paint. They were the number one team in the NBA in paint touches. So JJ Redick clogged the lane, and he made their shooters shoot. And there's no Contavious Caldwell-Pope out there. Bruce Brown wasn't out there. So, you have to live with Aaron Gordon beating you. You have to live with Braun beating you. Now, you don't want to leave Jamal Murray open.
Yeah.
But, you close out on Jamal Murray, but them other two fellas, I'm living with that. And that's what JJ Redick did.
Yeah. So, in your opinion, realistically, what's their ceiling? Where you see the Lakers ceiling at? You think they can Western Conference Finals? You think they can get to the finals? You think they can win a chip?
It depends on the matchup. Everything in the NBA, as you know, is about matchups.
Yeah.
If they get the right matchups, they could get to the finals. They get the right matchups, they could get to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
And if they get the wrong matchup, they could be home in the first round.
Yeah.
For me personally, I still, even though they dismantled Denver, I still see that as a viable opponent in the first round. If they have to see Denver in the first round, it might be curtains again, because you got to bring that same intensity for 4 games or possibly 7 games.
Yeah,
that's gonna be hard. No knock to Luka, but they played a very high intense game, and they clicked on all cylinders. They got to do that for 7 games. But on the flip side, if they catch a Houston or they catch a Oklahoma City, not Oklahoma City, a Memphis, I think they could beat those teams. I don't like them against Oklahoma City. If they somehow slip down and have to play, okay, I don't like it. So it just depends on matchup. I think they can match up the way that the Lakers play. They can match up with anything out east. They just got to get west.
Yeah, and speaking of out east, you think Cleveland for real?
I don't know. I'm gonna tell you why I don't know. I think they're a for real regular season team, but sometimes Donovan Mitchell has a tendency to disappear in playoff games. Like he'll have 2 or 3 good games in the playoffs, and then he'll disappear. I remember like 2 years ago, it might have been last year. Was it last year? He played the Knicks, and he just didn't show up throughout all the games in the series, and that's what pretty much lost Cleveland the game.
Yeah. Brunson outplayed them big time in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, and then you got to look at Cleveland and say, when the game slows down, right? Because their pace and spacing is what's getting them now. And they got to facilitate and run consistent half-court offense. I know Donovan Mitchell's a scorer. I know Darius Garland's a scorer. But can they consistently execute in the half-court in the playoffs? That I don't know.
Yeah. and then you got the Knicks. I want to believe in the Knicks, but I can't because anytime they play a top 3, top 4 team, they get dismantled. You know what I mean? They get whooped. Like they play who they play Celtics yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, the Celtics, even though the score looked like it was kind of a tight game, it really wasn't that close. I think the Celtics was up as much as 24, 25 points in yesterday's game. And, Knicks made a little run in the third quarter, but it wasn't nothing that made you think, the Celtics in trouble, you know. But then the Celtics, I know they defending champions and they won it last year and stuff like that. But I don't like watching them play, man. And it's more so Tatum. I don't like, and I know he's great. He a first team All NBA performer, but I just don't. I don't like when somebody is so gifted physically, so gifted athletically, but you want to play like Steph Curry. You know what I mean? Like all he does is shoot the three. I sat there and watched. I was waiting. He went a whole quarter without crossing the 3-point line. I was waiting. I said, when he's going to get to the mid range? When is he going to get to the post up? When is he going to drive all the way to the bucket, get to the free throw line? But he just falls in love with shooting the three. It doesn't matter if people draped on him or whatever. He's going to step back or do whatever, step to the side, and he's going to pull a three. And I think he's wasting his talent playing that way. I think he can be more of a dominant performer if he chooses to use the gifts that he has.
Yes. So one thing, I go back to your point on the Knicks. I want you to think about this for a second. The Knicks, one, they're not all the way healthy, but two, they're more of a playoff team than a lot of these other teams. And what I mean by that is when the games slow down, they have enough wings to be able to execute defense in the half court. It's not always going to look good in the regular season because their wings aren't like prolific scorers.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get Mikal Bridges and OG and Josh Hart in the playoffs, it's going to look a lot better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's sort of like the Miami Heat a few years ago, or I even go as far as to say like the San Antonio Spurs. If you go back and you look at a lot of the Spurs runs, they weren't the top team in the West. They were 2, 3, sometimes 4 seeds, but their team was constructed for the playoffs. But to your point on Jason Tatum, you're 100% right. I don't know what it is about Jason Tatum that doesn't make him lock in all the time, but it's something that's there. I just don't know what it is. I'm like you. I'm getting to the point where I'm tired of defending him, and I'm getting a little disappointed that he's not using all his God-given ability.
Yeah. We didn't get to talk about All-Star Weekend. I know me and a couple of the other fellas, we talked about the dunk contest and some of that other stuff, but like in terms of the competition of the actual game, they getting a lot of flack that the game not competitive enough, people not going all out. There's nobody really cares about the game and it's getting boring, and what the league need to do to make the All-Star game better. And I know they had a different format this year, and to me it didn't pay dividends at all. But I wanted to get your thoughts on it. What's your thoughts on the All-Star game, the state that is in now, and what can they do to make it better?
So, when we talk LeBron versus MJ, you know how much I hate that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or even LeBron versus Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you go off the pace of the best player in the league, right? And there was a time that it was unquestioned that it was LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a doubt in anybody's mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he took these games serious like Kobe or MJ. So it's led to where we are at now because the generation before you raises the generation that comes.
Mm-hmm.
And we missed that time. Kobe kind of passed it down. Well, MJ passed it down to Kobe. It was passed down from MJ, from Magic, Dr. J, and that generation. LeBron let it die. I have to get, and I'm a LeBron apologist a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
But with this case, I gotta lay it at his feet that he didn't continue the lineage going forward with the All-Star game and locking in and holding guys accountable because he was that type of player. But as far as fixing it, it's on the players. They gotta want to come. They gotta want to come to play. I hear stuff about incentives and making it like Major League Baseball. It wasn't like that when I watched the game and I fell in love in '93. They wasn't playing for no playoff. They was playing for pride.
Yeah.
And bragging rights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because all of these were like measuring blocks on who was the best player in the league. It's like, okay, well, MJ did this. MJ All-Star game. MJ dunk contest. You understand what I mean? And all those accolades made you who you were. Nowadays, I think people just getting labels through the media. So until the players want to fix their approach to the game, I don't think there is no fix to the All-Star game. You can make it any format you want if the guy's heart ain't in it.
Yeah. I get it. And I think it's more than a one player thing, in terms of like, I hear what you're saying, like LeBron kind of let the competitive part of it slip. He didn't approach the game like Kobe did or even Jordan. But I thought like let's start with Jordan's era. I think that was more of a collective effort, in my opinion, for the All-Star game, where they all got together like, look, we're gonna entertain the fans a little bit, first 3 quarters, you know what I mean? Keep the game a little close. And then fourth quarter, we at each other's ass, you know what I mean? And that's where the competitive part came from, that fourth quarter in particular, in my opinion, for the All-Star games. And then, and then you had the Kobe era where Kobe, it's just in his DNA where he just take matchups serious. You know what I mean? He even his first All-Star game, he wanted to test his skill set, his talent against Jordan's. You know what I mean? His hero. And then when he became an OG, he wanted to go at the young guns. I think Dwayne Wade told a story where from the jump, Kobe was at his ass, so that made him like his antennas go up like, oh, I'm not going to let Kobe embarrass me in this All-Star game. So you got those two playing physical, going at each other, and then it's just a trickle-down effect to the other 8 guys that's on the court. So yeah, I get it, because, you go past that. I mean, LeBron was part of that in the beginning part, but when, like, Kobe and all them started fizzling out the league and it was just LeBron and a bunch of youngins or whatever the case may be, he didn't keep that going because he really didn't give a damn about all that shit. I'm going to just keep it honest, like LeBron, like, hey, look, man, I'm here. You know what I mean? This All-Star weekend, give y'all a couple dunks, some oohs and ahs, and then I'm out of here. You know what I mean? It wasn't about that for him, but I agree with you. It's about the players. If the players want to make the game competitive again, they will. But I was listening to DeMarcus Cousins. He was like, well, it's called All-Star break for a reason. He's like, that weekend supposed to be a break. He said it's so much work that they do behind the scenes that the fans don't see. And then, 10, 15 minutes, you got to get ready and play the actual game. And then he said the other players who don't make the All-Star game, they actually getting their break or whatever. And he's like, what are you going to prioritize, the All-Star game? Or if you were somebody, a great player that's on the team that's in position to make a playoff push, are you going to prioritize that second half of the season? So it depends on who you talk to. They got different mindsets and different opinions on how the All-Star game should be played.
But to that point, Kobe, I'm going to say this. It's a reason why you the face of the franchise or you the face of the league and you getting the Supermax. You understand what I mean? You supposed to be able to carry a little bit more.
Yes.
They ain't just paying you that money because of your skill. They paying it because of your marketability.
Yeah.
And All-Star Weekend is where you're supposed to market your skills to the world. You understand what I mean? That's I'm sorry. To much is given, much is expected. I hear you. You can manage those minutes on the back end. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, coach, I just got out the All-Star game. These first couple, take the games off. You understand what I mean? Work that out with coach.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the schedules of a lot of these playoff teams, right, they got a soft spot in there somewhere. You understand what I mean? Take a couple games off, take some minutes off. Hell, take a few possessions off if you got to. You know what I mean? But you gotta continue the tradition and give it to these fans. Because guess what's happening, man? There's a young kid somewhere 8 years old that's looking at this BS All-Star game, and he already putting it in his mind or her mind, this is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you carry the tradition forward. It's not for you, it's for the generations after you.
Yeah. Good point, brother. I like that. All right, well, look, you know me. I love the weeks. I love our shows when we have a special guest in the building.
Yes,
And
sir.
and tonight we definitely have a special guest. He's a legendary basketball player out of the state of Delaware, where he won a state basketball championship at William Penn High School before signing to play at Xavier University, when he went on to have a Hall of Fame career there and was
Mm-hmm.
one half of the best backcourt in the nation, or one of the best backcourts in the nation. He also celebrated a successful professional basketball career in Europe. So without further ado, I want to introduce the legendary Gary Lumpkin.
What's going on, fellas?
What's happening, G?
Chilling, man. Chilling.
Yeah, man.
Working, man.
I know that's right, man. Look, we appreciate you coming on the show, man.
No doubt, man. Thanks for having me. Sorry, I know we've been trying to connect for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Been kind of running into a few things, but I'm glad you stuck with me, man. Still having me on. And real quick, I just want to say, shout out to you, man. You was definitely one of the best to come through UD. I hated coming there. They'd be like, "Hey," Prosper was always yelling at us, "You gotta trail Kobe on all the screens." Yes. So shout out to you too, man.
Appreciate you, brother. So look, let's jump right into it. So usually, Gary, we like to start from the beginning. You know, our viewers and listeners like to hear the whole history of our guests. So I'm gonna start you as a kid growing up in Delaware. Like, when did somebody put a basketball in your hand, and who served as that inspiration for you or that motivation for you to take the game and further your career? And was basketball even your first sport?
So basketball was definitely my first sport. I'm the youngest of 6 kids, man, of 6 siblings.
Wow.
I have 3 older brothers who all played basketball and 2 older sisters. And the ball was put in my hands about 3 years old, man. I had a lot of broken lampshades that I used as basketball courts in the house, man. Excuse me. My mom, rest her soul, my mom passed back in June, but she was always getting on me about breaking lampshades and breaking different things in the house because I always wanted to see something as a hoop. Came up through the Boys and Girls Club, man. Starting when I was about 6, started playing a lot there. My brothers worked with me a bit. Got a lot of mentoring from the Boys and Girls Club. You know, some of the guys there working with me on my game, and man, just grew to love it, man. Watched it all the time, played it all the time, and it just grew from there, man. Just a passion for wanting to be better. And, just wanting to challenge myself. And, of course, I came up with the thing of the whole piece of a lot of people saying, he's not quite good enough. He's not quite this, not quite that. You know, I mean, at 6'2", you know, you kind of had to, you had to have a certain type of pedigree to you. Being raised in what wasn't really considered the hood or, in the inner city, I had to come kind of find my way. And once I started to go play in the city, met Lenny Brown and a couple other guys, around the way, and kind of got my footing there, and everything else just panned out, man. So I had brothers that all played. My oldest brother played against quite a few pro guys, showed me quite a bit. I remember he played against Terrence Stansberry, who also is from Delaware, and one of my other brothers, he was the state player of the year in 1982. And another brother that was a point guard at the school where I went. So I had a lot of basketball in the house, a lot of knowledge, man. And, they toughed me up. I had to play them one-on-one. There's still one brother. My oldest brother, I haven't beaten one-on-one. We're probably not going to play. He's like 62 right now. But he was 63. I mean, he's 63 now. and could shoot it, man, the total game. So I got a lot of action there playing against them and trying to get better.
Okay. So was it your brother or one of your brothers, or was it somebody else that you was like, dang man, I wanna play like him?
Sheesh. I kind of embodied all my brothers, man. Coming up, I kind of, I can shoot a little bit, I can handle it a little bit. I kind of embodied all of them. I wasn't that athletic until it came to jumping off one leg, and somehow figured out that I could do that. And so, I kind of embodied a little bit of all of them. I didn't really have anybody like that growing up. I mean, of course, in the league, I paid attention to Magic Johnson, big fan of his, and a big fan of Isaiah Thomas. So those were two guys I looked at growing up.
You talked a little bit about Delaware, and I looked at the history of Delaware. It seems like you kind of paved the way. Was there times that you were like, man, I'm not from New York. I'm not from Brick City. I'm not from New Jersey. Like, I'm not gonna make it. Did you feel that way ever?
No, I can't say I really ever felt that way. I just felt like I needed an opportunity. And once I got the opportunity to play against some higher name guys, things started to kind of come around. I remember, I don't know if you remember, in New Jersey, there was a guy that ran a camp called the ACC camp. And we played outside. And so you got your bearings there. And I remember that was one of the first times I ran into Lewis Bullock.
My man, shout out Lou.
And so Lou, man, kind of, started to compete against him, saw him around, big, around. Back then, AAU was a little more concentrated then. So you didn't everybody wasn't playing AAU. Like, you had to have some game, and you had to be known. So between him and seeing Shantae Rogers, who played at GW, saw him quite a bit. And I remember me and him having battles, and that's when I kind of started, yo, man, it's about D-Ware. And I started to talk my stuff. And he'd be like, nah, shorty, it's B more. Shantae only 5'3". So we going heavy at it. And that's kind of where things took off, man. I just felt like I just needed an opportunity. And I got one major opportunity my junior year when we played at a place called the Fellowship Hall in Conshohocken, PA, and got to play against Kobe, God rest his soul, and had the game of my life there. We ain't beat them. Of course, they had 5 D1s: Kelly Taylor, Pitt, Joe Brown at Florida State. Alvin played at Villanova, the point guard.
Alvin Williams.
Alvin Williams. Him. So he had some guys that could really go, man. And Kobe did his thing, but I held my own, and that just kind of solidified that I was able to go out, man, and play against some of the best around.
Nice. And that's crazy. It's such a small world, because you named 2 of my AAU teammates. Lou Bullock and Kelly Taylor was both on my AAU team.
Oh, that's what's up, man.
Yeah, along with Victor Page. So
okay.
Team coming out of DC. So I was like, wow, man, everybody kind of competed against each other, and it's crazy how you connect once you get to the next
two, man. Them two, Lou Bullock and Kelly Taylor, were 2 of the toughest guards I ever had. Because we played on the I don't know if you remember the AAU team, the DC Travelers, the DC Players.
Yeah, yep.
So we all played on that team. Guy coached by the name of Donnie Gross. So I played with them. They called me up one day, and I ended up playing with them. LaRon Prophet was on the team, and a couple other guys. But yeah, man, playing with them was a real treat. Playing with them and against them, in practice was a real treat.
That's awesome.
I'm sure y'all had a very nice unit.
So you coming up in Delaware, and you get to the point where your game's starting to blossom. You nice. You putting everybody on notice. Was there like a bidding war for your services in high school, or how did that work? How did you end up going to William Penn High School?
So when I left my middle school, I went to a middle school called George Reed Middle, and it was literally 2 minutes up the street from William Penn. I wasn't supposed to go to William Penn initially. I was trying to follow my brother that had won Player of the Year. I was trying to go where he went, school called Del Castle Technical High School. I was already enrolled in there, Votech school, ready to go. And the coach at William Penn talked to me and he said, "Hey, man, listen, your brother set a precedent there. Why don't you come over here and set your own precedent?" And I bought into that, and I'm glad I did because I was able to go there. Lenny Brown was there, and my other boy, William Davis, who was a D2 All-American at Virginia Union, went there, and the three of us formed a three-headed monster, man. It's one of the best decisions of my life. And, going there, was able to win the state chip our junior year, and was able to, my sophomore year, become the second sophomore in Delaware history to be named first team All-State. And so I didn't average a lot of points. I know our record at that point was like 23-2. We lost in the state semifinals, but I only had about 13 a game, about 5 assists, but was just the leader of the team and just try to do whatever I could to lead the team.
Yes, sir.
You touched on it earlier about your thoughts on the AAU now and where it's going. Do you feel like, and I always ask the guests that had great prolific careers, especially in high school, do you feel like you were ahead of your time? You wish you could play in this current AAU era?
That's a good question. I felt like where I was is where I was supposed to be. Nowadays, I feel like things are watered down, man, and I don't feel like games are appreciated for what they really are. I know quite a few guys now that are very solid ball players that aren't getting a look because of a number of reasons, whether it's the portal, whether it's college coaches just not looking at high school ball players. But I felt like the time that I was in and we were in was the time I was supposed to be in. I feel like, honestly, if I was in this day and time, I believe I could fit, but I'm not sure if my type of game would have been appreciated, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to shoot 25 times a game. I was going to run your team. I was going to be a point guard. I was going to do whatever was needed to win. I was going to defend. But I wonder if that solidarity would have been more appreciated in this day and age.
Yeah.
Good point.
So Gary, now you're in high school, like you said, you guys won the state championship. When did you really start gaining momentum in terms of recruiting? Like, what were some of the schools that were looking at you, and where'd you take your visits at, and how'd you ended up choosing Xavier?
So Xavier recruited me from my freshman year. Mm-hmm. I remember seeing when I would go to that ACC camp and I was playing outside and I was going to local, camps and things. Coach Jeff Battle, who was the guard coach there at Xavier, I would see him sitting around everywhere I went. He was there just about. But he wouldn't speak. I don't know if it was just a thing then. He wouldn't speak. He always looked like he was angry. I told him, too, I said, man, you look angry all the time. Like you didn't, like you was just there and you just had an attitude or something. And he said, nah, man, I was just checking out everything. I wanted to make sure that that what Coach Prosser and I were seeing was the real deal. And didn't realize, man, just on the side, I didn't realize how much checking up they did. There were people that were telling me that they would ask them questions like around the area, around the way, asking about me, talking to my friend, talking to adults, coming up to the school. So that freshman year was the first time. Remember back in the day, handwritten letters were a big thing. So if you were getting typed up letters, you kind of trashed them because it was just mail. But if you got a written letter, Coach Prosser wrote me a handwritten letter. Expressing that he would like to have me come to Xavier. As time progressed on, I kind of grew a little more in terms of notoriety. I started playing on some higher profile teams and got to the point where my last 5 schools were Xavier, LaSalle, Richmond, Seton Hall, Maryland. Seton Hall, Maryland came in on the tail end, but Xavier, South Richmond were there, kind of early. The only visit I took was Xavier.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just took one visit, went to Cincinnati, loved it, man. I kind of felt like, and honestly, Kobe fellas, I felt like a lot of the schools that came on afterwards, they came on because, oh, wow, look, his name is gaining traction.
Mm-hmm.
And Xavier was there through it all. I was talking to them. Coach Price had a great relationship with my mom. I was a product of a pretty much a single parent home. My dad passed when I was 6, and so my mom had to raise me pretty much by herself with the siblings, and so having somebody that could connect with her was huge. And so they promised my mom, like, listen, we'll take good care of Gary. We'll guarantee that he will graduate. Can't promise him he's gonna get a ton of time. That's on him, but we're gonna make sure he gets his degree, and we're gonna make sure that we look out for him. And they did that. And everything they promised, they came through on. So I'm very appreciative of that from them.
Yeah. And before I pass it on to Mo, was you going to Xavier a package deal with Lenny, him being your high school teammate? How did that happen? You both going to Xavier?
Yeah, so honestly, I got a call, and I don't know if I even shared. I think I shared this with Lenny, but I got a call after I had committed. Not long after I committed, and from Coach Battle, and he was like, "Hey, G, man, I got a little something for you." And I'm like, what's up? He goes, "Hey, how would you feel about your backcourt mate, Lenny Brown, coming to join you at Xavier?" And I was like, "Man, it's a no-brainer."
Yeah.
Me and Len hadn't even talked yet. Len was at MCI, playing up there. He had prepped a year while I was finishing my senior year. So the fact that he was coming there was a big relief for me because I already knew what I was getting. I knew I was getting a dog. I knew I was getting that guy. He was different, man.
Yeah.
So that was something for me that every game I played, I knew at least one person understood me, had my back. We even had a couple of times where he had my back where some stuff was getting ready to go down. And he was right there, back to back. So very appreciative of them recruiting him and him coming along and us having a career together like that.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad it all worked out, man, because you're in the Xavier Hall of Fame. You had a prolific career there. However, I know somebody had to get the best of you. Tell our viewers and listeners who bust your ass, man. Who got you?
Oh, man. Yo, listen. One thing about me, I ain't sugarcoating nothing. And if there's, I didn't always, and I'll even say this. A lot of people don't bring attention. Before I go to the players, a lot of people don't bring attention to this part, man. My first 2 years were pretty good. Freshman and sophomore year were pretty good. Even shooting 40% from three first couple years, and then like I had some challenges the last couple of years. Ended up having a son my junior year of college, man, and I just mentally I was kind of off. So my last 2 years weren't as good. But even through all that, my freshman, I had two guys that really gave me work. Well, three. The first one was Tyson Wheeler.
And he talked big trash too.
Yo, Cole, listen. That freshman year, I kind of underestimated him. I'm like lefty, real quick. Like, I'm like, man, he's not doing. We watching film, like he's not getting that off. Like, and he's the first point guard to introduce me to the sham guy. And he came down. I'll never forget this. Freshman year, we was at Rhode Island. He came down, man, quick as lightning. Threw the ball out and ran. And I'm thinking he about to reach out and go to St. And he reached out and brought that thing back. Man, I was in the bench, man. It was bad. Like, and he got me. Like that whole game. He really got the best of me, man. Really, that was one of my grow up games.
Yeah,
that was one of the games that really introduced me to the A10. Another guy was Mike James. Remember that name from Duquesne. I was able to see him over, and I played against him one time in France in Pro A when I was in Pro A for a short stint. But Mike, man, I remember Mike had 36 on me at the Garden, at Cincinnati Garden.
Wow.
Him and Tom Pickens.
Yeah, that was a hell of a backcourt,
man,
bro.
Crazy. And we beat them like the game was in the hundreds. It was like 116 to 105. It was crazy. And they each had 30 apiece. And Mike had like 36 and Pickens had like 30. And me, Darnell Williams, who also played with us there, he had like 35, Lenny had 30, and I had 22. So it was one of them games where we were all just flowing in the game.
Yeah.
But the biggest one, and I'll never forget this guy as long as I live. He was about 5'9", played at University of Akron by the name of Jamal Ball. Mm-hmm. Jamal Ball, it was the game before Christmas break. We was great. The next day we was going home. And we thought we was going to go into Akron, blow them out, have a pretty easy game, and get on the bus, go home, go see our family. We ended up playing 3 overtimes that game against them at Akron, and Jamal Ball had 44.
God.
Yo, I ain't never seen it. Yo, fellas, he's the only guy to ever do that. I had to tip my hat off to him, man. He was making everything. Great defense on him. He was on fire that night. And so them 3 are probably 3 of the toughest guards I ever had to handle.
Yeah. And I was talking to Lenny about this, during the time when we were in the Atlantic 10 was, it was loaded. It was stacked. It was time. I mean, there wasn't really many schools you could go to where it wasn't somebody there that was ready to get at you. And, and we had so many ranked teams. We were probably a top 4, top 5 conference in the country, So can you talk to our viewers and listeners about the competition all across the board in Atlantic 10 during that mid to late 90s era?
Yo, man, like every night, every single night, like I keep in touch with, like, every once in a while I'll shoot a shout out to Tim Wynn, who played at St. Bonaventure. Every once in a while I'll see a podcast or a video come up with Katino Mobley.
Mm-hmm.
And every time we start talking, or if we have a conversation, one of the first conversations that comes up, like, yo, you had to strap up every night in the A10. There wasn't really an off night. Like, you had to, if you didn't bring your A game some nights, like, you was gonna get torched.
Yeah.
And so just that level, and a lot of people don't realize that the A10 at that time was producing NBA guards.
Yep.
And so after, when the NBA combines and things came up, a lot of our names were in talks about these camps and going to workouts and different things, right?
Yep.
Shantae Rogers at GW, St. Joe's. I don't even remember who St. Joe's said. They had one of their coaches is a high school coach here in Delaware, Terrell Myers. I don't know if you remember that.
Yep, I do. And I remember St. Joe's did have a All-American, Rashid Bey. I think he may have been a year or 2 in front of us, but he was a monster.
A dog. Yeah, and so like that, every night, man, I remember Coach Prosser always, like, in the scouting reports, man, guard play was huge for him. And he was just like, all right, G, tonight you got Tyson Wheeler this night, then 2 nights later you got Shantae. And then another night you got Tim Wynn, and then you got to do it Rashid Bey and
Pepe Sanchez.
It was every night, man. Then you got and then you got Edwin Young. You got the blanket, right? You got these guys, and you got Tony Stanley, who is like, I'm still. Hold on, let me go to the side note real quick.
Okay.
I hated playing at Dayton, man. I don't know what y'all had going on in there, But I hated playing at Dayton, man. Y'all was, of course, we never won there, but I'm like, that was a tough atmosphere to play in, man.
Yeah, I was going to ask you to explain to the viewers and listeners about those epic cross state matchups. Because that rivalry goes back, 60, 80 years or something like that. So anytime we played each other, the stadiums were sold out. It was electric, loud. Oh man, that was probably. And I know you guys had the cross town rival with Cincinnati, but other than that, man, you don't get any bigger than that Xavier Dayton game.
Man, Xavier Dayton was huge, and Kobe, like even it didn't just occur during the season. If we saw each other in the summer, it was always personal, but it was a respectful personal though.
Yep.
And I don't think that's why today when I'm coaching now and I'm watching a lot of things going on or paying attention around like during the summertime, the respect is not the same.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like guys are too kind of like buddy. Like they play together on the same age, 4 guys on the same AU team. So when they play against each other, it's like, oh, I ain't gonna go as hard. It's like, nah, man. Like whenever we step on the floor, like it's go. I don't like you at that time. Like Kobe, my boy, but if I see him on the court, I'm trying to bust his tail. He trying to bust mine. Like it ain't there's no love. But after the game, yo, you crazy. We might get into an argument. We might throw an elbow here or there. But off the court, it's like, yo, the game's over. We're good. Jokers now is like, it's different, man. But I always had respect, and we always had respect for each other, especially for the guard play, man, because we were all so solid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Epic,
well,
man.
That road is paved 2 ways, right? So you gave me your top 3 that gave you that work. So who did you give it to?
So after Tyson Wheeler gave me that work that freshman year, the sophomore year, I came back and had a good game against him. I had like 24-6 at the Gardens against him. And that was actually the first. So, side note, after that game, I'll never forget this. After that game, we played them. It was on the little TV network in Cincinnati. And I remember walking off the floor, and this media person ran up to me and was like, "Hey, Lump." He's like, "Yo, man, I just wanted to tell you, a couple scouts were at the game watching you. Scout from the Lakers, scout from the Jazz. They said they enjoyed your game, and they'll be following." So that game right there was like an eye opener, as to say, like, I got a chance. And so that was a good feeling there. And then second game was Shantae, Coach Prosser. I don't know if you heard about this, Coach, but Coach Prosser broke his hand on the board one game when we played George Washington at Xavier. Shantae was killing me in the first half. He had probably about 10, 12 points, getting whatever he wanted. Coach came in the locker room at halftime, punched the board hard, broke his hand. And Coach Prosper he didn't cuss. So his big thing, he would always yell at me and be like, "Christ, G, Christ, when are you going to stand up to this guy? When are you going to stand up to him?" And be, I'm 6'2", he 5'3", so you would think it wasn't but Shantae was tough, man. And I didn't realize at the time that he really was taking the event. Like, he would get up under you defensively, and you had to, it was tough guarding him. He might push off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember I had 8 points at halftime. After that, came out, finished the game with 31 and like 5 assists, and we won. So that was good get back there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's up. So during your time at Xavier, you guys stayed in the top 15 in the country and was ranked pretty high, and was consistently in the NCAA tournament. Can you kind of explain to our viewers and listeners what your first experience was like going into the NCAA tournament?
Wow. So the first time we went to the tournament was was our sophomore year. I think that was the 96, 97 year. Um, Great experience, man. You know how you have those years where you're kind of like on a revenge tour.
Yep.
And so freshman year, man, we were only 13 and 15. We struggled. We played UMass when they had. Remember playing Marcus Camby and Travis Yates and
number
Padilla.
one in the nation.
Number one in the nation, right? Not, Dana Dingle and all them. And we lost to them in overtime. Never forget that. And we were upset. Like, man, we should have beat them as freshmen. So the next year we came back. We did beat them. Beat a few other teams. Beat UC when they were number one in the country on LB shot. And so getting to the tournament that year, we didn't win the A10 tournament, but getting there that year was big for us. I mean, we played Vanderbilt first round. I had a guy named Drew Maddox who was pretty good, white guy, and was able to get the win there. And then second round, we got to see UCLA, who played like we did at that point, like to get up and down. Charles O'Bannon, Cameron Dollar, Toby Bailey, I think had graduated already. But they had a pretty Jelani McCoy. All right, they had a pretty solid crew. But that experience was crazy, man. Playing in front of almost 30,000 in an arena like that was huge. And like I thought that playing in something like that, you'd be like, yo, all these people, but them people don't even. It's almost like they're not even there. Like you hear them, but they don't impact the game. They have nothing to do with how the game goes. Like you go out there and you just play, and you realize that a lot of guys you see on some of these big name teams that you're just as good as them. Y'all played against top notch competition, and you go out there and you're like, hey man, Michigan, like everybody McDonald's All Americans, like they aren't any better than I am,
right?
And so that was a great experience, man. I was glad to be a part.
Yeah, and then moving fast forward to your junior year, I mean that was a year where if the A10 wasn't tough before that year, we had 7 or 8 teams that won 20 plus games.
Yeah, man.
That all was vying for the tournament. I think the A10 had the most teams in the tournament that year. And actually, I think you, Xavier, Dayton, and GW shared the championship for the regular season in the A10 West. That's how the competition was. So talk about that year where you come out a conference that's so tough, and now you're going into the tournament. I think, to me, I would say even more battle tested.
Yes. Junior year was a battle, man. And junior year actually was probably the best team I played on at Xavier. Myself, Lenny, Darnell, James Posey, Swingman, Teray Braggs, who was a monster. He was a JUCO All-American. TJ Johnson was in his last year. You're right, man. It was battle tested every night. And that was the year that we were blessed to win the A10 chip. We had beat GW in the A10 championship that year. And I remember that year because if I'm mistaken, that was the year that Rhode Island was in the Elite Eight and almost beat Stanford. Right? Was that year?
Yep, that is that year. Yep.
And they almost beat Stanford to go to the Final Four. And Tyson Williams had them on the rope.
Tyson and Coutinho.
Yeah, with Coutinho and Wheeler. And so we had a battle against them earlier in the year. But that junior year was crazy, man. It was crazy. I remember coming there. And honestly, I think Miami had beaten us that year, and y'all had beat us. I think that junior year, y'all had beat us when we came to Dayton, which was a huge game. We was ranked top 10, and y'all knocked us off. So A10, man, was crazy. It was crazy. Every time I think about it, I'm just like, every night, like I said, every night was crazy, man. You had to strap up and be ready to go.
Yeah. Because I mean, like you said earlier, every team you played against, it was the talent was thick, and it was somebody there that was ready to get at you. And Mo asked you, was it anybody that bust your ass in the A10? I remember my junior year was my get back because my sophomore year, Rashawn Palmer from St. Bonaventure.
Hey, that's right.
He dogged me, bro. And
Yeah.
all I could think about was him the whole summer. I couldn't wait to play St. Bonaventure. And we played them that next year on ESPN. I cooked his ass up.
Then you got back at him, Cole. He's like, you're gonna get all this.
Yeah.
You got
Go ahead.
Man, listen, Kobe, you being modest, man. Like, I still remember looking at tapes where Kobe one corner, bang, Kobe from the wing, bang, Kobe Turner. Bang. I'm like, this is crazy. And it was fluent, man. I'm just like, and me and Lenny, we would talk and we'd be like, yo, man, we giving props to all the guards that really held it down. Especially in the A-10, man. We would put A-10 guards against any guards in the country anywhere. Like we wouldn't take a backseat to nobody, and we were coming to compete like every year.
Yeah,
every year. So,
yeah. Like I said in the introductions for you, like you and Lenny were considered, if not the best, one of the best backcourts in the entire nation, and I'm sure everybody who faced y'all definitely respected y'all. Being both of y'all was like a double head of the snake, So
yeah, man. We I do remember our sophomore year. We had a little interview, and we were right in the mix. I remember the backcourt at South Carolina, BJ Mackey and the other guard. They were up there. Jacques Vaughn and Jared Haas at Kansas. They were up there. Mike Bibby and Miles Simon from Arizona. They were in there. And so never got a chance to play against any of them. But, it was good to be – it felt good to be mentioned in there, man. But, as you know, I think that goes back to hard work that we put in, and we always felt like the underdog. Even though we had good players good guards in the A-10, I still felt like we were always trying to get over the hump or trying to get more recognition so that, nationally that was. And that was always a big motivator for us.
All right. So coming back your junior year, going into senior year, speed it up a little bit. It's coming at the end. I'm pretty sure because of your prolific career, you're starting to hit that draft buzz. The NBA calling a little bit. So take our viewers and listeners through that process.
Senior year, man, was, like I said, senior year was rough, man. It was rough. I did not have a good senior year. It was a disappointing year. And I really believe, we finished the season 25-11, but I believe if I had played better, if I had been playing like I've been playing the first couple years, that could have been probably been a big run for us. But I think, and this is just me, I think I was able to go to or get through the season and end up going to the Portsmouth Invitational in Virginia. I didn't know, Cole, were you down there?
I didn't go.
You can go? Okay. I was able to get into there. I don't know how, because I thought I was terrible. And so got in there and played on the team with Devin George.
Mm-hmm.
He was on my team. Mel Levitt, Ryan Robertson from Kansas. This name, I want to throw this name up there. And if he's watching or happens to see this, man, one of the most underrated players that I've ever seen and played with in my entire life. One of the best big men under 6'10" was Ty Grant from St. John's.
Bro, I played on the All-Star team with him, a college All-Star team. Ty Boogie, we used to call him.
Ty Boogie.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Cole. Man, I didn't know. I was like, I said, Ty, what? He's like, gee, man, it's what I do, man. You know how he talks New York, just what I do, man. Like, and it was just confidence. And he was right. Like, Ty won, I remember he won MVP of Portsmouth, and he went on and did his thing, but like nobody face up, back to the basket. Nobody could handle him at all, man. I was coming down
walking double-double.
Like, clear out. Just let him go. And back then, it was still illegal defense and all that kind of stuff. So you couldn't, if you trapped him, he was going to pass it. If you let him play one-on-one, he would go to work. And I was, to this day, I'm still amazed. One of the best players I ever played with, hands down.
Yeah. He was down. He was a force down low, man.
Yeah.
He walking double.
Every game.
You getting 15, 20, and 10 every game.
Every game.
Yes, good dude too. That's my
man.
man.
Real good dude.
Yeah,
real good dude. So if you watching, Ty, my guy, man, I appreciated taking the, gracing the floor with you, man, for sure.
Yes, sir. And don't be modest, G Lump, man. You was second in assists in the entire Portsmouth camp. Don't think we didn't know that.
Oh man, you know what?
Don't think we ain't know, brother.
So, I had Cole, real talk, man. Like I was still mentally, I was all over the place. I did, with 6 assists a game. I remember we played a championship game against Kareem Reed, man, and
another good brother.
Another good brother played at Arkansas. Kareem had me. I was turned up, man. I was like apple turnover, coach. Like I was bad, and we were able to, get the win and all. But I remember my brother that came down. He asked one of his former college coaches, who was a scout for the Spurs, and this is how I knew, like, hey, I don't know how this is gonna work out. And he asked him, he was like, "So what you think about my brother? You think he got a shot?" And the scout, nobody knows this. I've never told anybody this. The scout tells him, he might want to look at overseas.
Damn.
Which I mean, I got it. I mean, I understood it. It wasn't a knock. I didn't play well enough, right? And there were other guys there that were, playing better. And so that's the route I took, man. One of my biggest regrets with playing basketball, I'm gonna throw this out there too. One of my biggest regrets with basketball, man, was that I did not continue overseas as long as I should have. I played a year in Finland, had a really good year over there. And then after that, I was kind of money greedy. I wanted to get more money, so I went to France, played on a few teams there. I don't know if you know much about France, but if you don't win, they are not keeping you.
Yeah,
you can have great numbers, you can have all that, but if you're not helping them win, they don't want nothing to do with you. And so I had a bad experience leaving France that just kind of made me shut it down, and ended up getting a job, man. Ended up getting married in 2001, wife and kids and all. And I found a job, and I was done.
Yeah. Gary, do you remember? And I asked Lenny about this. He, for some reason, he don't remember, but the one time that I remember getting to play with you was the College All Stars versus the Harlem Globetrotters. Do you remember that game?
Yeah, I do remember that. I do. I didn't realize I didn't remember you being on the team, but I do. Now that I think back, I do remember you being there. Yes.
Yeah, because I think it was me, you, Posey, Kareem Reed.
Yep.
The guy, he was first team all ACC. Played at North Carolina. I can't remember his name.
I don't remember the name, but I do remember somebody high profile being there like that. Yes.
Yeah.
They had a very competitive team.
Yeah, they beat us by 2.
Yeah.
It came down to the end. I know that.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yes, I do. Lenny didn't remember that?
Lenny didn't remember. I said, boy, you must have been smoking something good that week.
Yeah, I remember that. I do. Because didn't we play we played downtown Cincinnati?
Yeah, exactly.
So I thought like down at the Crown or something.
Yeah, one of those bank arenas.
U.S. Bank Arena. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I do vaguely remember that. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So a lot of good memories, man. A lot of good memories. It was funny, man. When you had mentioned coming on your podcast, I started going down memory lane like right away. I remember you and you guys coming on here. I was watching Lenny's podcast. I'm like, oh man, it's a lot of memories that a lot of guys don't know about. That were pretty good memories, man. That the A-10, our A-10 memories are just as good as ACC or the Big Ten or anybody else's. So
facts.
It is what it is.
Go ahead, Mo Money.
Okay. So you played overseas, you had that experience, now you back home. So what's going on now? Like, what are you into now that you know that you need us to support or that you want the viewers and listeners to know about?
Well, right now I'm into my coaching career, man. Actually, let me go back. I'm actually working on my admin certification.
Okay.
I'm a dean at my school right now. So I'm a dean along with a basketball coach. Yeah, appreciate that. Back at my alma mater, man, and actually this was a dream of mine to come back. I came back in 2018. My mom had gotten sick and had some complications, had heart surgery and things. And I decided to move from Cincinnati to Delaware to help, be here with her. And just decided I would go. I taught 5 years. I taught spec ed English for 5 years. And then been a dean. That's my second year being a dean. I coached 2 years as an assistant coach on the boys team at my school. And then the coach stepped down. So I'm in my 5th year now as the head coach at William Penn. A couple years ago, we lost in the state championship by like 4 points. And have had a pretty good run at things, man. I've had some good teams. Haven't quite gotten over the hump yet. I'm hoping this is the year that we can put a run together and make it happen. And that's really where I am, man. But I will say this: I made a post about this. I went to go see Delaware State play South Carolina State, and Eric Martin. I don't know if you remember that name. Eric Martin that played at Cincinnati, and then former Woodward High School coach Jarrell Redden. I saw them coaching there at South Carolina State, and it really gave me a bigger itch to scratch to be able to coach college ball, man. So there's a college coach somewhere that wants to groom, the recruiting and all that part is something that you gotta learn and know about. But I think coaching is just in you, man. And so I feel like I put some time in, and I don't know, maybe I might end up back at Xavier at some point. I don't know, but really trying to look at the college view and see what may happen. And it doesn't have to be a big name. I could, I'm cool with working my way. My kids all grown. I'm empty nester, so I'm like, I got some time. So if I'm able to make that happen, I'll make it happen.
Well, you know what? Hey, you ask, you shall receive. We talk after the show, man. I might know a coach that might need somebody on the staff, just like you.
What's up, man? Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Hey, and I tell you this, Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles both could have saw that Gary Lumpkin was going to be a coach.
Hey, Cole. Well, hold on. So my kids, right? Ever since I started, like they would go back, watch Google, look at Google, whatever, right? Pull up some film, whatever. And my boy who coached with me, that played with me at Penn, he was like, "Yo, man!" Like he was a hooper. So he like the coaching side, he was there. But like when I coach, I really go coach. Like I'm really studying the game. I'm really trying to X and O, strategize. Like, and so when I'm drawing something up or I'm doing something, he's like, "Yo, how you know that worked?" I'll be like, "Man, a lot of these plays we ran at Xavier, man. Like I just know they work. Like I'll draw them up and I'll be like, hey, here we're gonna run basic. When you come off the down screen cross screen, the second down screen, the slip's gonna be wide open." And they'd be like, and then they would run it and score it exactly the way I said it. And they'd be like, coach look at me like, "Yo, you really know what you're talking about?" And I'd be like, "Nah, not really. It's all experimental." You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, we just experimenting, man. But the kids kind of learn to trust me, because when you can say you played it at a high level and you're coaching it at a pretty decent level, it's like when they see it works, it's like now all of a sudden, kids that wouldn't come to my school, now all of a sudden I'm getting some guys that's like, "Yo, Coach Lump know what he's doing over there." Like and every time, like we got our first tournament game tomorrow. So everybody that like a lot of people I've talked to, they've said we're a 13 seed. We played a 20 seed. And they're like, as a 13 seed, we still know that your team has the ability to go win it.
Mhm.
And so they know they're going to get coached up. They know they're going to get, valid information that's going to help them become better ball players, and then mentoring and all that, all plays into one. So if somebody had asked me back in 99, if I was going to be a coach, I'd be like, nah, I'm cool. But the more I've done it now, man, it's been a blessing, man. I've been able to impact some lives in ways that is unmatched, man. I'm really grateful for it. And me, Cole, I'm a humble guy. I'm never about pumping me. I've never been about that, but I'm all about trying to give what I can to help, help players be better, man.
Yeah. And look, I want you to use your coaching acumen right here. So,
all right.
When we had Lenny on the show, I asked him about that classic game that you guys had against Cincinnati where Lenny hit the game-winning shot and you guys beat Cincinnati. But Lenny revealed to us that play wasn't for him, that it was for Braggs, Torrey Braggs. I'm like, for Torrey Braggs for the game-winning shot? So I'm like, I mean, he was a monster, but come on, bro, for the game-winning shot. So now I want you to replace Skip Prosser for a moment and tell me what play which you had ran, even though you guys ended up being successful in winning, but what play which you have ran for that final shot against Cincinnati?
I would have, Cole, fellas, listen, I would have ran the play that was supposed to be ran.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of people don't know this. Coach Prosser drew up. It was a play we ran called Army, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a scissor action cut. Like somebody was coming off, like they was going for the lob. The other guy is coming off to the same side wing. And then there's a down screen by Braggs bringing the guard to the top. Well, I'm usually, as the point guard, I'm the one in the middle of the lane coming to the top. And Lenny's the one usually taking the ball out, coming off of a flare screen on the right side. I kind of had it going that game a little bit too, probably not as much as Len. So they I don't know why Coach Prosser did this. He put Len in the middle where I was supposed to be and had me taking the ball out. Mm. Lenny gets out to the floor. A lot of people don't know this. Me and Coach Battle talked about this. We get out to the floor, and I'm in my head, I'm like, this ball, I'm about to beat the number one team in the country. I'm knocking this flare screen down. Like, it's ball game over. Lenny yells over, evidently says something to the sideline. He says, yo, what do I do? He's like, what do I do? Like, what? And Coach Battle goes, just go get the ball and tell everybody to get out the way. Well, I don't hear this conversation. And if I was to play it back, you would see me throw the ball to Len, and TJ Johnson was getting ready to set a flare screen. And Len just, next thing you know, Lenny's isolated with Darnell Burton up top. And I'm like, yo, Gino for three on the wing. Like, let me get the pill. But when I tell you, I could have never been more excited for him to have the ball at the top of the key. My dog, like, Len made a lot of big shots in high school, man. Like, what people saw that night wasn't new to me.
Right.
Like, he's had some epic shots made in Delaware that, in Delaware, they call him legend.
Wow.
So for that to happen, that wasn't new. And real talk, a lot of UC guys had a big time respect for LB. Mm-hmm. And so, Coach Prosser, I remember him saying like that Lenny had the courage of a cat burglar. He was stone cold with it, man. Yeah. And that was the play. It was Army, supposed to have G Lump flaring to the wing. I wasn't involved in that play, and it was destiny, man, because it was meant for LB to do that, and I was happy for him to make that shot.
Oh, well, awesome!
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, so you play with another big time ball player that we haven't mentioned in the podcast so far, James Posey. Yeah. So what was it? what was it like playing with James? I know, and I remember you guys had a great team. Your team was so great that Posey was your sixth man. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. But just talk to our viewers and listen about your experience playing with Posey, and did you see his talent back then? Like you knew where he was headed.
So, Pose our freshman year didn't play with us. He was a partial qualifier. So, but he would work out with us. He would, I don't think he practiced with us. But he, we would see him working out summer leagues and things. He played. I didn't realize he would become that good that fast. Like we saw the potential, but it was like, But the sophomore year when he started to practice with us and start different. He's the first guy that could back tip you from about 3 or 4 feet behind you because his arms were so long. Yeah. So as a point guard, if I'm stopping the ball, Post coming from behind, I'm like licking my chops because I'm like, he can already poke the ball to me. We about to get a steal and he gonna get a dunk. So I'm gonna throw it right back to him. And there were a number of times that happened, man. Defensively, one of the best defensive guards around. He developed his game really well. Started knocking down the 3 ball. I mean, he could go to the rim and bang on you if you weren't careful. And was just, he did whatever it took, man. If I'm mistaken, he may have even told Coach Prosser that he'd be willing to come off the bench because we did have a number of guys that, Darnell Williams was there. And him and Darnell together were crazy good. And so, but James was the real deal, man. Like, he went on to win NBA championships and all. But I remember, so side note, and he can't get in trouble for this now anyway, so it don't matter. But so senior year, we're in our apartments, and this is how I knew Pope was getting ready to be big time. Going into my room, and we walking up this little sidewalk way, and I see this crystal black Escalade sitting in the parking lot with rims on it, with Xavier University on the front tag, and I was like, And Escalades in that time was like, you wasn't nobody, everybody wasn't just walking around, just riding around in an Escalade,
right?
Man, Post came out and jumped in. I was like, yo, like, what's going on? Like, and next thing I know, he's going to this camp, play. I think he went and played with Elton Brand in the USA games over there somewhere. They went somewhere and played. And I knew then, I was like, and then I started hearing talks, Poe's going to be a first rounder. He's going to go in the top 20 picks. I think he went 18th to Denver. And so, well deserved, man. Well deserved. Yeah. He earned all that. Worked hard, worked on his game, and he just had it, man.
Yeah. And did he start develop his wing skills at Xavier, because he played totally different in the league than what he did in college? Because I was telling Lenny that when we played you guys, I was always matched up with Darnell Williams, and he was a handful.
Yeah,
and he was one of the ones I hated. I hated matching up with that dude, man. But when he was sub out and Posey came in, I thought it was a relief, because at that time I thought Posey was more comfortable as a 4-man, and he wasn't comfortable as a wing player. So I was like, all right, this is a little relief for me, because Darnell Williams, he was different on that wing.
Yeah, Darnell, Darnell definitely had that.
Yeah, he was a dog.
Pose developed, though, he developed that wing game like around began that junior year. Sophomore year, it, not as much. He was more just defense athlete. And going into that junior year, he started knocking that 3 ball down,
right,
and started working on his handle a little bit. And just started to progress from there. In senior year, he was doing everything. I remember we played Temple that one time our senior year. Dick Vitale was ranting and raving about him. He had a crazy stat line. It was like 21.6 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 steals, 6 blocks, something like that. It was something crazy. And I was like, and you don't realize it until after the game. You like, he's all over the place. Probably had about 10 deflections, like getting his hands on different passes and things. And so, yeah, it was definitely a change. I can see how you would have probably felt at the time a little more, at ease with him. But as those last 2 years went on, he definitely improved.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mo Money.
Kobe, it's about that time, man. About that time to get into that rapid fire, big dog.
Well, we got some rapid fire questions for him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. We're gonna put you on the hot seat. All right. Being that you were a point guard, we're gonna go old school with you. You gotta start, bench, cut. And I'm talking about I'm going old school. All right. So we're gonna start, bench, or cut. Isaiah Thomas, Magic Johnson, or Mo Cheeks.
Woo.
That's a good lineup.
Start, bench. What was the other one?
Cut.
Man, I'm a Sixers fan too, man. Dang. I don't want to get rid of my boy Mo Cheeks, man. All three of them are NBA championship guards too. So,
yes, sir.
If I had to cut one, it's probably gonna be Mo Cheeks. If I had to bench one, I'm gonna probably bench Isaiah.
See?
Yeah, I'm gonna probably bench Zeke, man. Magic, man, at 6'9" and the way he controlled the game, to me, I used to try to pattern my game after him. When in my younger years, he was the guy. I used to have it. I used to try to get the yellow Converses and yellow and purple. I tried to wear my Magic jersey and shirt. The way he found guys on the break, the way he just ran a team. Like I like that. I thought Isaiah was a little more flashier and was really just all about trying to get a bucket. You know what I mean? Whereas Magic was like, I got all these pieces around me and I gotta put it all together. So everybody ate. And then Magic, who was that? Oh, Magic did it when he was like, it'll come down the break and like he. Like that right there is what I would want. Yeah, when I saw him on the 30 for 30 when he was talking about the Olympics and they showed that secret game they had, the two sides, and he was talking trash. He was like, "Yeah, we go from here." Like, nah, Charles, you gotta get him back. Like, just the way that he went, his energy and what he brought to the game as a PG and a leader, like to me, that was unmatched, man. That's like he's one of my favorites all time.
Yeah.
To your point, though, I'm gonna put this out there, man. Shout out to Grant Hill, right? They have a documentary now that we beat the Dream Team. It's on Amazon.
Yeah, I saw that advertisement.
Wait a minute, what?
Yeah, they said we beat them people.
We beat them people, huh? They told us the Dream Team lost.
Yeah, you gotta check it out when you get some time. Grant Hill and We Beat the Dream Team. It's on Amazon Prime. It's produced by Grant Hill.
It's already out because I saw the preview for it.
Saw it last night, Cole.
Okay. What is it on?
Netflix?
Amazon. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I might have to check that out. We beat the Dream Team. I'm going to write that down.
Mm-hmm. So sticking with the energy of the start bench cut, I got two different ones for you. So the first one is start bench cut: Jordan, Bron, or Kobe.
Oh,
you got for G Lump.
Kobe.
What you got for us?
Kobe, Bron, Jordan. All right. And Bron is my guy. Like Bron, I mess with Bron. That's my dog. Like start bench cut. Yo, that's tough, y'all.
Hey, look, this rapid fire, you gotta spit that thing
All
out.
right, so look, okay, all right, here we go. And as much as I love him, man, I'm going to cut Bron.
Oh my God!
Oh, I get it.
Hey,
So watch,
what
I
an
just
button to this show.
This is my thing, though. Like, so, and I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna cut Bron. Check this out. I'm going to bench Jordan, start Kobe. All right. Brian very prolific. He's even at 40, like he's doing something unmatched. I like Brian, real talk, in my eyes, Brian should have 10 chips. And I this is me. And I felt like there was quite a few times Brian let me down, man. I wanted him to have that mindset like MJ. Like, yo, go get it. Like, just don't care about, don't throw the extra pass. Like, shoot the contested jump shot. MJ by a lot of people is considered the GOAT. But I felt like his was more selfish. I felt like Kobe could have got done what MJ got done, but in more of a wait. My bad. Let me reverse that. Because Jordan went through a period where he was averaging like 10, 12 dimes a game. So let me flip that. Start Jordan, bench Kobe. My bad. Let me go that way. All right. Because I felt like Jordan could get you a bucket, but if you start double teaming him, he gonna find the right guy. All right. And I think he does that better. I think he did that better than Kobe did.
Can't go wrong.
No, yeah, you can't go wrong. I'm gonna say it now.
Hold on, but I want to know, what would y'all say to that though? What would y'all say?
I mean,
me, I'm a Bron guy, so I'm never cutting Bron, and I would cut either Kobe or MJ because I look at them as the same player. You know what I mean? So I would cut one of them, and then it's in terms of starting, I flip a coin, Bron or MJ, Bron or Kobe, whoever's left on the team. Yeah,
fair enough.
I mean, if you're talking about just impact to the game, that's where Michael Jordan gets it, man, because there was a point the NBA was dead. Basketball was not the number one sport in America. It was baseball. Just think about that for a second. MJ flipped the narrative in America about basketball. And so without MJ, as much as I hate to say it, there is no Kobe, there is no LeBron. Because the league was headed towards bankruptcy at one point. You know, Bird and Magic kind of saved it, right? But MJ took that thing to another level. So just on non-basketball terms, you got to go Michael Jordan. But if you're talking about on the court, you said it best earlier. You love Magic Johnson. Well, I think the next evolution of that is LeBron James. It's just a more athletic with an actual shot, or a better shot than Magic, but he still has the same basketball IQ. The difference between all of those players we named, right, is that LeBron, until recently, hadn't consistently played with another all-NBA player that complemented his game. We could say whatever we want about Scottie Pippen, and you can say whatever you want about Shaq being out of shape, but they both were gifted teammates in their prime.
Yeah.
Well, they were all top 50 players too. So you can't go wrong with any of them in that instance. But, and I know I kind of, danced around it, but to me, you can't go wrong with any of them.
The crazy part is, and this may sound like kind of like a knocking what I just said. If I was going to start a team and I had to pick one of them three, LeBron might be the first one I would pick with all of the attributes of all of them.
Yeah, I get it, and I see where you're going with it, because I always thought that LeBron could do more with less. Like you give him less talent around him, he gonna maximize the potential of that team.
He took Zadrunas, Ilgauskas, and Eric Snow to the finals, man. I still trip out over that. I know they got swept by the Spurs, but like,
yeah. And that's honestly what shapes our narrative in a negative way when it comes to LeBron, because he played against more talented teams. Yeah. It would have took the 96 Bulls to beat that Spurs team. I think people forget how talented that team was, or to beat those Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
I mean, you talking about a prime KD, a prime Steph, a prime Clay. Man, that's hard for one man to do.
It is.
Because Kyrie left. You know what I'm saying? And ain't no dig to Iman Shumpert or J.R. Smith. Those guys are great role players. But man, that wasn't enough.
Yes, sir.
Bro, I read a crazy stat the other day. They said LeBron James teams that he took to the finals was only favored once going into the finals, and that was against the Heat in the bubble. Yeah.
And he wasn't even favored against Dallas.
Nope. Yeah, if you remember, Dallas was hot. They was cooking that year. If you
right. Oh, he won it. I was like, goodness.
You right. Dirk was playing at an MVP level.
Yeah.
Jason Kidd was hot. Yeah, you right. Yeah, now that you mention it.
You got to remember who Dallas beat in the West to get to the finals.
You right. No, you right. I forgot, man. You right. Even against Oklahoma City, when he was in Miami, they had. I mean, that young roster was loaded. We saw what all of them, became. So, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
So I got another start bench cut for G Lump. So we're gonna start bench cut James Posey, David West, Lenny Brown.
Oh, yo, man, come on.
Talk to me, bro. Talk to me. That's why it's rapid fire. We put you in the fight.
James Posey, David West, Lenny Brown.
Yep.
Yo, all right. So here we go. All right, listen. I'm a loyal dude. I'm a loyal dude with the ones that I know I can be loyal with. That's gonna get the job done. First of all, I ain't cutting Lenny Brown, so that's out.
Okay.
And real talk, for the money, I gotta have Lenny Brown on the floor. So I'm starting Lenny.
Okay. Respect.
I can't do my dog like that. I done been through too many wars, and I would go into the deepest of wars with him, like as my backcourt mate. Bench, I would bench David West. Probably would end up cutting James Posey. No knock.
Right.
Yo, fellas. David West, before we graduated, David West was just coming in. To see his growth, and I was around for them years that David West was playing.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a player grow like that over a 4-year span. Dave West went from strictly 5 to 10 foot jump hooks and finishing around the rim and grabbing rebounds to all of a sudden a mid-range killer, like however you face up, knock it down, put it on the floor, one dribble floater, to the third year. I never forget, we came to an open gym, and I was like, I said, yo, D West, what you been doing? Yo, this joker was hitting threes from like all over the place in open gym run. He's like, Lump, I've been working on my game. I said, West, like that's not gonna be fair. So now you're gonna give it to him at all 3 levels? Yeah. I'm a bench him, but he gonna be in the game real quick. He gonna be in the game real quick. Yeah. Cause that dog right there, he's different.
Yeah.
When he had 50 on Dayton that 1 year, I was like,
yeah,
crazy.
Okay. All right, this will be my last one. Being that you were a point guard aficionado again, I want your top 5 point guards of all time. And I'm talking about, you can go all the way back to any era that you want to go to. You can even name cats off your block. Your top 5 point guards that you've seen put in work.
That I've seen put, they don't have to necessarily be pro guards.
Nah, no. Let the people know. Give them their flowers.
Wow. That's so many. Top 5. Hey, y'all. In no order. In no particular order. Let's go with, and we talked about him earlier. Tyson Wheeler, one of the best I ever played against, man. Killer. Like, handled it, did everything. Really good ball player. I gotta give props to Shantae. Shantae, one of the toughest covers I ever had coming through. Real talk, Kareem Reed, when I played in Portsmouth. Very, very tough point guard. Who else? Man, y'all. The NBA guard that never got to play against, he's younger. But I remember when he was at Wake Forest, Coach Battle told me he was there. He had went from Xavier to there and told me that this kid was going to be special. I didn't play against him, but I followed his career. And one of the all-time steals leaders, best point guards in NBA history, Chris Paul.
Okay.
He's up there. I got major respect for his game. I just seen how he matured in the 09. And then, man, y'all, I don't know. I'm reaching. I mean, it's quite a few, but and you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and give it to my guy, Tim Wynn, man. Tim Wynn at St. Bonaventure. Tim was tough. Tim Wynn was ball handler, could shoot a little bit, but was a monster at getting downhill and defending. There it is.
Yeah. So I just got two more.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. One. Hold on. This is can I make a 5B?
Sure.
I came to learn about this person, and a lot of people talk about him in street ball. This is one of my homies, my brothers, and I got to know him in my later years in Cincinnati. Tim Gittens, a.k.a. Headache.
Yeah. Shout out to the Headache.
Yo, shout out to my guy. I'm gonna make sure you see this. Yo, when I started playing with him, he wasn't the quick, like, getting up and down. Played at Wisconsin, Milwaukee, I think. But yo, when I say a point guard, like in my older year, like in the 30s, when I wasn't like zooming up there and I'm just kind of spotting up, shooting, he was the point guard I played with to get me the ball. And no matter where I was on the floor, he found me. Guys would try to pressure him, they couldn't. Like, and it was like he was in cruise control. And next thing you know, he hit somebody with an N1 move, and it wasn't a carry, it wasn't a travel, it wasn't any of that. He just did it so smooth, and next thing you know, defender spins around and he's throwing a dime. Like one of the best I've seen do it. So shout out to my boy Eddie.
Dang, that's what's up. Yeah. I'm gonna say a name, and you have to describe this person just using one word.
Okay.
Skip Prosser.
An angel. Yo, angel. I was meant to play for him. I was meant to be his PG. And I want to say this, and I don't speak much on this. During my last couple of years that were real tough, there was a game that we played. We played Purdue at the Crown at US Bank Arena. I had a horrible game, and I'll never forget it. I had 5 assists, 11 turnovers. And I remember after about the 8th or 9th turnover, it took me out, and I'm like, I'm done. In my head, I'm like, I'm done. I'm never going back in the game. It's like midway through the second half, and I'm like, I know I'm done. And within a couple minutes, I hear, "G, let's go." And I was like, and I looked, and I was like, I know he can't be talking to me. And it took a minute for me to get up and say, "G, come on, let's go." And I got up kind of hesitantly, and I go to the table, and I'm looking at him like, are you kidding me? Like, you really about to put me back in the game? I didn't say that, but in my mind, I'm looking because I'm kind of reluctantly going to the table. Confidence was shot. And I never forget, he told me, he said, come on, G, you got to figure it out. You got to figure it out. College coaches ain't doing that nowadays, man.
Yeah.
They ain't doing that. Skip Prosser was one of the most loyal guys, best men that I know I've ever played with, ever played for. God rest his soul. Like he was an amazing man. Heard about him giving suits to the custodian workers, taking them out shopping, going out there before the game, seeing them do the floor, and he would go out there and be like, show me what you're doing. And they'd be like, Coach, you don't got to do this. He's like, no, I want to do it. Show me what to do. And they were showing, and Coach Prosser would be on the gym floor mopping the floor. So, like, he was different, man. He was on another level. So, an angel.
Yeah. And hey, look, and I got a chance to meet with Coach Skip Prosser, and so he recruited me out of prep school.
Okay.
So he came to my school, Hargrave Military Academy.
Okay.
And came and sat in my barracks, and we sat there and talked for hours.
Wow.
And he was telling me about, and I think you had already signed, and Lenny, and he was talking about his vision and bringing in 5 to 6 talented freshmen to lead that team into the future. And before he left my barracks, he left me a scholarship offer to go to Xavier.
Wow, that's what's up. Dang, Cole, you could have been with us too.
I could have been with y'all, man. And you know, I think back to times like that, with guys like Coach Skip Prosser, like, man, I wish I had an opportunity to play for him, because I'm gonna just be straight up. I ain't like playing for Hey,
yo, I didn't know. Hey, Cole, I don't want to put no salt in the wound. Yo, you would have loved playing for Prosser, bro.
Yeah.
He gave me one day, he was talking to my family. He goes, G, I want to be able to give you the ball at 7:00. I want it back in good shape at 9:00. That was his thing. And he would be like, and then there would be time, because his big thing was, I don't want you thinking. I just want you to go play. Like, you already know what to do. I just need you to go play. Go be the player that I recruited you to be, and come in here and go play. Like, stop thinking so much. So there'd be a time I would do something, and he'd be like, G, what are you doing? And I'd be like, well, Coach, I thought, and his favorite phrase was, don't think. That's what I get paid to do.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have enjoyed it, bro. He let you, me, Darnell, Lynn,
I already knew.
But he let us run. Like,
I used to get jealous watching y'all play, man. Man, like I'm dead serious, man. I used to get jealous watching y'all play. I was just like, man, only if.
Man, Coach, you would have been dynamic in it. I know it. To run the floor and then throw the ball, like, and my job was to get the ball out, like on some Jason Kidd type stuff. Hey, outlet, let's go. Get the ball up the floor, one dribble or less, like, let's go. Let's get it run. Let's make defense get back. If you're open, we're not setting nothing up. We're shooting the ball, or you're getting to the rim. Like,
yes, sir.
It was great, man. It was great, man.
So my final rapid fire question.
Okay.
Give me your top 5 players in Xavier University history. In order.
In order, top to bottom, huh?
Can't let them leave out of here that easy, Mo Money.
I see you put that heat on.
Top 5 all time, huh? A lot of people, Cole. A lot of my dogs.
Y'all had some ball players come through XU.
Man. All right. So gotta start with XU still all-time leading scorer, Byron Larkin.
Yeah.
He'll probably be one. And for that record to still be standing, I know Trayvon Blewett came close, but Byron was still getting 30 at like close to 40 years old in the rec leagues and stuff. Like, he just had this uncanny knack to just score the ball, man. He's still good, real good dude too. So Byron Larkin, one. David West, number 2.
Okay.
Real solid guy. 2 Holloway. 2 Holloway, number 3. 2 Holloway had triple doubles, man. You didn't really hear about that very often.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna throw my boy in there because he's one of the top 5 in my opinion. Lenny Brown.
Okay.
Yes,
Number 4. And then at number 5, now this name, I'm giving you 2 names on number 5.
Okay.
Trayvon Blewett.
Okay.
Oh, he was nice. He was nice.
He was nice. But a guy that came and won and got us 1 possession away from getting to the Final Four, Lionel Chalmers.
You know what? I forgot. Wow.
Lionel was different.
Mm-hmm.
He came in with, I think he was around Dave West year.
Mm-hmm.
Came in, played. I wasn't so sure. I was like, came in, he played. I'm like, he all right.
Yeah.
But as time went on,
mm-hmm.
that Joker started banging it, and yeah.
Hey, that's a vicious list.
Yeah.
So we got Byron Larkin, David West, 2 Holloway, Lenny Brown, and look, I'm gonna go ahead and scratch Trayvon and Lionel out, and I'm gonna put Gary Lumpkin. God damn it!
There we go.
Yeah. Appreciate that,
man.
There we go. X was good to me, man. I ain't gonna lie. X was good to me. You know, you just do certain things and you just know you were supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Xavier was one of the places I felt like good, not so good, whatever. I was supposed to be there to go through whatever I went through, good or not so good. Like it was definitely a very good experience for me.
Yeah, and I agree with you, brother, because in the late 90s, late 90s, if you talk about Xavier University, you couldn't mention that school's name without mentioning your name. You know what I mean?
Appreciate that.
So it is what it is, brother.
Appreciate that.
You got any more questions for Gary Mo Money?
Nah, he was great tonight. I learned some things. He put me on game.
Cold, man. Thank y'all, man. Like I'm really a grateful guy, man. Y'all came, y'all taking this time. I'm looking at the time. I'm like, yo, you've been talking that long. Like, I really appreciate it, man. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. I don't get to tell my story a lot, and I don't tell it to try to get fame or anything out of it, but I do like to share it that hopefully a young person I'd be like, oh man, if he did it, you know, I didn't have a big name coming out of college. I won the McDonald's All-America, none of that. But man, work ethic is everything, man. People just if kids just learn to work and put the time in, I believe that pays dividends down the line. So thank y'all, man. Appreciate it. Keep doing what y'all doing.
Yeah, and on behalf of the No Cap Sports Show, we want to say thank you to you from the bottom of our heart. We really appreciate this. This was an excellent interview. And look, you welcome back here anytime. You family.
I love to come back. Man.
Yeah, moments notice. I don't care if we about to start in 1 second. Say, "Cool, I'm about to jump on in there. Come on through, brother. We'll love that."
Look, real talk, man. We win this state chip, man. I'm coming back on, so I can shout my squad out.
There you go.
Let's do it.
There you go. Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Good luck in the playoffs, man. We rooting for you. I know y'all gonna get it done.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We plan on getting it done for sure.
Yes, sir. More money take us out of here, bro.
Hey, to all our viewers and listeners out there, this was another great show. Hit the subscribe button, and we look forward to seeing y'all next week. Peace.
Salute.
Appreciate y'all, man. Much love.